What's going on, guys? My name is Orphid. How are you beautiful people doing today? Hope you're doing just fantastic. I want to start this video off by saying thank you so much for 32 subscribers. It feels so awesome to be able to say that, to anyone who watches the videos. I appreciate you greatly. I'm dealing with the pain and the backlash of my wife leaving me, so you guys are making that just that much easier. Today's video is going to be just a little topic, discussion of some of my favorite games in this recent, like last 10-15 years. Just some of my favorite games of all time. And I have a few listed here, and I want this video to be a discussion. So if you happen to come across it, definitely chime in and drop a comment and let me know, some of your favorite games of all time, whether you just give me the most impactful game you've ever played, or if you drop a few like I did here. I want to know what games impacted you guys the most, and what games that keep you coming back to this medium to get your fill of gaming entertainment. So yeah, let's get right into it. And I'm gonna start this list with probably the most impactful game I've played so far currently, and that is The Witcher 3. Now, The Witcher 3 is a very special game. I wasn't able to play it as soon as it came out, but I did play it shortly after. And from the moment I launched the game and started in White Orchard, seeing the scenery of the whole game and just seeing the graphical fidelity and the scale of the game, I knew it was going to be something special. I love RPG games, and I love games that have that fantasy setting. And Witcher 3, immediately as soon as you see it, you know that you're going to be getting something, special from that caliber of game. So the visuals in this game were very, very good. The landscapes, like I said, were very good. The character models were very good. The animation, the facial models, all of that stuff. And obviously, the big ticket himself, Geralt, he is a huge reason as well. I'm gonna go ahead and throw it out there right away. Geralt is one of the best parts of Witcher 3, and why that game was so special to me. I love Geralt. The world and lore of the game, just so rich, and everywhere you go, every quest you do, every pickup you look at and you read, all of the little tips and the menus to flesh out the world more if you actually take the time to read them. They're great. And I was coming into this game fresh. I had never played The Witcher 1 or 2. I never read the books by Andrzej Sapkowski, so this was just The Witcher 3, and I was able to get the experience I got from this game alone. So there's so much there if you are a lore junkie. The world, like I said, is fantastic. It has all of its own problems, all of its own little quirks, and you get to experience all that as if you have an idea of how this world works. And I think that's one of the most important parts of immersion, is you want to be able to step into these worlds and be able to say, like, yeah, this feels like it could be real, like it could be lived in, like my character lives in this world and all of this stuff happens whether I'm playing the game or not. And The Witcher is, it's nothing short of doing its job when it comes to that. The attention to detail is another one of the biggest parts of this game. The side quests, I dare to even call them side quests in this game. See, this game blurred the lines between like what is deliberately a side quest and what is, specifically critical path for the player to progress the story, because it fucking felt like everything you did in this game was important in its own way. The way they presented cutscenes and dialogue to the player, they were the same no matter what you did. So you could be playing, a side quest that was gonna span just 5 minutes, but if I didn't tell you that was a side quest, you could be mistaken thinking that was still on the main path. Like, just, it was all good content. It wasn't separated by this clear label of, oh, it's a side quest, this doesn't mean anything, because it was all special in its own way. Whether you were gonna get items out of the end of it, whether you were gonna find out what happened to a specific character by the end of it, just, it didn't matter what you did, the game always felt like you were finding out something new, and it was enjoyable. So doing, as much content as possible, it was always gonna be an enjoyable experience. You weren't separated. You weren't like, oh, I'm gonna do the main path, but I'll leave that stuff alone because it doesn't matter. All of it matters. A specific example, there was a point in the game where this guy was being like tried for a crime, and he got sentenced, and his sentencing was to be left on an island, just like chained up to a post. And after that happens, if you go to the island where he was supposed to be sent, you can actually find his body there, chained up. You know, in most games, it would have just wrapped it up in the quest, and you probably wouldn't have been able to see him again. You would have just been left with the knowledge, oh, that was what he was sentenced with. You know, they sent him off. But you can actually see that, you know, the ramifications of, you know, what happens in the world and the decisions you make. In most cases, they're tangible. Like, you can actually see what's going on. You know, characters reflect what's happened to them so far. The scenery can change, all types of stuff. And man, the game was just, it was special. Up until Cyberpunk comes out, I believe this is going to remain the best game I've ever played. And the only one to take that mantle away is it's going to be V in her Cyberpunk adventure. So, second game on this list is Kingdom Hearts 2, a childhood favorite. I definitely think, as far as all the games I've played in my childhood, Kingdom Hearts 2 takes the cake, because I don't know any other game that had as much replay value and as much of an impact on me around that time as Kingdom Hearts 2 did. First off, the biggest one, the glaring one, the Disney charm, right? How many games can you play where you can talk to Donald Duck, Cloud from Final Fantasy, and Winnie the Pooh all in the same setting, right? You don't have a lot of games that can do that. So this game was special, you know, if you're a kid, if you grew up with those Disney characters, being able to see them in a game, fighting alongside you, and, you know, going into their worlds and, you know, reliving their stories, but with Sora, Donald, and Goofy interjected. That was special. That was special in its own right. Now, the gameplay was the biggest part for me. I didn't really care too much about the story when I was a kid, so I still don't care about it now. But the gameplay was what kept me coming back. It was something special about whacking heartless enemies with a fucking giant key. A lot of them looked really cool, if I was to add. But yeah, Keyblades. What's not to like about a Keyblade? I still want a replica Keyblade in real life. I want one. I'm gonna get one soon, boys. We're gonna get one. Drive forms as well. Probably the second biggest reason I enjoyed the game so much, you know, being able to go into these cool forms depending on, you know, which party member you use to use magic or just dual wield Keyblades, which was not a feature in the first game, so that was completely new. The drive forms just felt powerful. They gave you this sense of, like, you know, you were Super Sora, and that's awesome. Any game that can make you feel even more powerful than you do already it's great. It's fucking great. The bosses especially, I never forget the feeling of finally beating Sephiroth. If any of you know what I'm talking about, man, this will hit home immediately. Sephiroth was, until they released Final Mix, was probably like the boss to be able to say, like, yeah, I beat him. Sephiroth was fucking nuts, and when you finally beat him, you know, as a kid, I sucked at games. Now that I look back on it, I wasn't very good at games. But when I finally beat Sephiroth, man, that was magic in itself. So Kingdom Hearts 2 is definitely one of those special games as well. And man, if you haven't played Kingdom Hearts 2 at this point, please go play it. The final game on this list is BioShock Infinite. Right, so I first played this game when it came to PS Plus. It was right when the PS4 came out, and I believe that 1st January of 2014, BioShock Infinite came to PS Plus. So I was like, let me try it, why not? You know, I remember seeing some reviewers rave about it, and I was just like, you know, I'm not doing anything anymore. I don't have the PS4. Why not play BioShock Infinite? And I do not regret it. Man, BioShock Infinite remains a very special game to me to this day. And I know the game, you know, from a critical standpoint, there's a lot of, you know, flaws and problems with it, but that did not stop me from enjoying this game, man. Same situation as Witcher. I had not played BioShock 1 and 2 before this. Any of the DLCs, I didn't really have a knowledge of the story. I just played this game for what it was, and right away, as soon as you start the game and you first drop into Columbia, that remains one of the most beautiful scenes in a game I have ever seen. The music combined with that, you know, angelic like glow of the lighting and the fact that there's a city in the clouds, like you literally are playing the game on a floating city. Like, that's so fucking cool. And man, the game just, the colors were bright and they were vibrant. And just, it was, the whole time I was playing the game, it was a joy to look at. And, you know, some people visuals are everything. For me, they're pretty high up there, but they're not everything. I still think in most cases, gameplay trumps anything else. Your game needs to be fun to play. But this is one of those cases where like visuals alone could be enough to drive you through the story. So that's special. It was impressive to me at that time, and man, I want to get the BioShock collection so I can play the game again. But the next thing, the reason, you know, I like this game so much is the theme, right? Like, the game's pretty old, so I guess I could just go into a little bit of story. You play as Booker, and at the beginning of the game, there's these two mysterious people. Essentially, they task you with getting the girl and will wipe away the dead. That's all you know. So your whole little narrative thread is finding this girl. That's all you care about. You don't know why, but that's what you're told to do. You end up finding out that there is a Booker that exists in this current version, and there's your Booker, and there are two different Bookers, and their paths were decided by one event. So you're seeing a Booker that essentially made a decision at that point, and then you're seeing another Booker that made a different decision. And the game, you know, the themes of like time travel and parallel universes is, I know that can get really messy depending on the plot, but this one was, you know, it was interesting, right? For, you know, dealing with such a messy plot point, it was very good. And Elizabeth, she remains one of my favorite characters in a video game, whether that's actually during gameplay or just as a character on her own merit. I loved Elizabeth. She was awesome. She was definitely one of my favorite parts of the game. I actually think I like her more than Booker. When you like a side character more than a main character, I think that's telling. Elizabeth, I love you. So those are some of my favorite games of all time. I had to think about this list like pretty decently to make sure like, yeah, these were the games that, you know, stood up and are the reason, you know, I like the kind of games I like today, and a reason gaming is so special to me. And I definitely think these three are indicative of that. You know, if someone doesn't play games and you were to give them these games, I think they could see the magic there. So yeah, I definitely want to know what you guys think. What are some of your favorite games of all time? And, you know, if you feel like dropping it, why? What was so special about the game that made it stick with you all this time? So, as I said, thank you guys so much for the support, for watching the videos. I highly appreciate it. It's why I do what I do. And yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys. So, thank you again. You guys have an awesome day, and until next time.